Hi, you guys. I am excited to introduce you to this new page. I just started it, and I started it because I realized that over the years, my passion is art journaling, Bible art journaling, art projects where I get to express myself. And so I want to create a community of resources here where other people who share those same passions can come and find out new ideas, new inspiration. Sometimes it'll just be quotes. Sometimes it'll be things that I've created, things other people have created. Feel free to request to share your own ideas and things. So this is just going to be a really neat place. But I thought I'd start out talking about art journaling supplies, because some of those can translate into Bible art also, but I will do a separate Bible art favorite supplies video soon, because there are some of these supplies just don't work in a Bible because of, the Bible's pages being so thin. So when I'm talking about art journaling, what I'm talking about is doing some kind of painting, drawing, writing, mixed media, something or other in a spiral bound journal with blank pages. Now let's start off there. So this is a blank page journal. It's mixed media weight paper, which is really important because then you can use almost anything on the paper, any kind of paints, any kind of pens, any kind of markers, and it won't bleed through to the next page. If you just buy a beautiful journal, but it has blank pages, if you use anything other than a ballpoint pen or maybe a gel pen, it's going to bleed through to the other pages. So, and then you'll have a few pages of bleed through to deal with. Now, this past year, I've experimented with a plain paper journal like that. And what I have done is I've created the bleeds that have come through into my new project. So that's a whole nother idea, but that's the whole point of this page, ideas. Art journaling ideas. So if you want kind of the challenge of dealing with the bleed through and the marks it makes on the next page, that's actually kind of a built-in art journaling prompt right there. But if you don't want that, if you want the clean slate, you want a piece of paper every time, I suggest a book. Now this is kind of a medium-sized book. They also can have a half size and then a bigger size. You choose whatever size you want. Some people, when they get started with art journaling, they feel like the bigger pages on the bigger books are just a little daunting. I love the book that's just a little bit bigger than this one. It is, oh gosh, this is 7 by 10 inches. So that one's probably 10 by 12 or something like that. Not sure. I don't have it memorized. Anyway, so that's a page that would be really good to have, a page size that would be really good to have if you want kind of a nice sized, we'll call it a canvas, even though it's not a literal canvas, to be able to work on. If a really small book feels a little too cramped for you, then go with the medium size or go with the small size, and you can always switch to a new journal. Now, the one thing that's really cool and freeing and also frustrating for some people is that in art journaling, there's no rules. There really are no rules. There's no wrong way to art journal. The only point of art journaling is to express yourself on paper. So sometimes my art journaling is what I would consider ugly, but sometimes it's silly. Sometimes it's cute. Sometimes I just feel like making a design that's pretty. Sometimes, like it's all about just expressing yourself. Because when we have emotions that build up inside of us, that gets toxic. So we have to find a way to get them out. And sometimes even people who call themselves non-creative, you can art journal too, I promise you. In fact, you might be the best at it because there are no rules. So you don't follow conventional art class rules with this. And just getting your feelings out on paper, sometimes feelings end up looking like a color or a shape or a design or a scribble or an angry mark or cuts of you know, cutting shapes out of the page, something like that. There's no rules. So again, that's why we've got this idea page, so that we can share ideas and you can just be inspired to get your feelings, prayers, concerns, excitement, whatever it is going on that day, you can get it on paper. So like, here's a funny one. Here's what I would call kind of mixed media. It's quasi mixed media. I painted this trash can on a separate piece of paper, drew it with a Sharpie first and painted, which is one of my favorite techniques for art journaling. And then tucked inside, I created trash, and all the trash were things like, things I tell myself that I don't like. Like, I create lots of clutter. Okay, well, that's not a helpful thought, right? I am a clutter bug. I create messes. I'm a messy person. But if all I do is sit around and focus on that, then I'm just going to create more clutter and I'm not going to fix the problem. So I wrote down a whole bunch of things I wanted to kind of like, messages that are not helpful that I tell myself. They went in the trash. And apparently on this day, I wanted it to know that it was garbage and trash. So this is kind of the fun thing you see about art journaling later, is you come back and you're like, man, I had to call it garbage and trash. It couldn't just be garbage or trash. It's like serious, gotta go stuff. So anyway, but this book is really cool because, let me see if I can find a page where I've used a lot of like water or paint. Well, here's one I did. This one was a long time ago, on Body Love. We've got two different body shapes there. That one has watercolor and Sharpie on it, and I will show you the back side. So the back side has bleed through with the Sharpie, but the next page does not. So, and the watercolor doesn't bleed through at all. So the mixed media weight is a really good weight of paper to have. You can find this at any art supply store, any craft store. This Canson is just one brand. It tends to be affordable, but I tend to get whatever I can use with a 50% off coupon, or a buy one, get one half off, or buy one, get one free. Oftentimes, if you keep your eyes on the lookout, that will happen at like a Michael's or something like that. So a book, get a book. The other rule is you can always, what I was going to say is you can always start another book. You don't have to wait for like a brand new year to start a new book, or until your book is full to start a new book. You can have two going at the same time, like two different sizes or two different kinds of paper. So just make it work for you. Okay, so my second thing when it comes to art journaling, where I'm doing it in just kind of a white space journal like that, my second favorite tool, other than the journal itself, are Sharpies. I love, well, this one's purple, but I love a black Sharpie because I can draw with it. I can create whatever I want to, and then I can paint over it with acrylic paints, with watercolors, with watercolor pencils, anything like that. And of course, since it's Sharpie, it's going to stay. So I love that look. I love being able to draw with a Sharpie. And I love that Sharpie is a commitment, and I can't go back and erase the lines. And oftentimes if I don't allow myself to erase the lines, then it ends up being actually pretty cool, because I learned something about myself because I didn't edit my thoughts. I didn't edit out the imperfections. And there's stuff to learn in that. Even just the practice of not editing out your imperfections is a great practice when it comes to art journaling. So a black Sharpie, and I like the medium tip for, this fine point. These are called fine point. To me, these are not a fine point, but you know what I'm talking about. Regular old black Sharpie is one of my favorites. And then I also love, for color, I'll show you a few things. I love the, what do they call these? Ultra fine point Sharpies. I love these to add color or also to draw with. They just are fun on the mixed media paper because they kind of just add, they just kind of soak into the paper. And with Sharpies, oftentimes you're worried about, you know, in journal entries, them kind of bleeding through and things like that. But again, not going to happen in a multimedia, mixed media type paperweight book. So I love Sharpies. And again, same reason, I love bright colors and I love commitment. I love the commitment. I don't sketch things out in pencil first. You sure can, because there's no rules, right? But I don't let myself do that, because then I would get too hung up on the art and not about the heart. And you guys are going to hear that over and over again from me. Art journaling is about the heart of what you're trying to express, not about what it actually looks like, not about the art. It's about the doing art, and it's about the feelings that come out when you're doing the art. Okay, another fun resource, and they're available so inexpensively now, are just gel pens. They are fun because they add lots of color. You can get sets of like 145 for like, I don't know, $10 on Amazon. So gel pens are fun to use because they add kind of a vibrant color in an inexpensive way. So those are really fun. And you can get them in sparkle and neon and pastel and all sorts of colors. I also, for sparkle, I love Jelly Roll pens. These are super, super snazzy. I also love for a white pen. I do enjoy the white pen by Jelly Roll, but I also love the Uniball Signo white gel pen, and you can get those. I will type that name in the comments. You can get those on Amazon. Some of these pens like that I really love come directly from Japan and have Japanese writing on them. They take a little bit to get them here, but they're worth the wait. So yeah, my favorite white pen, let me see. Let me go grab it really quickly. All right, you guys are hearing me make a disaster. My work desk where my computer is on this side of the camera, and directly on the other side is my art desk. So it's not very far away, but it's far enough that I had to go grab these. So these are really great for metallics and white. These Uniball Signo gel pens. These are amazing. Like, these are really fun to add. White is really fun to either use in a black book, which I just started experimenting with. So it's just, I'm just going to do, I think, just black and white. I'm going to have to invest in a lot of these. Just black and white, and experimenting with negative space, and kind of what the black is doing for me is it's making me create different shapes and forms than I did before. I don't know why, but the black paper is doing different things for me, and I'm finding that kind of intriguing. So I'll be posting more ideas on black and white, black paper with a white gel pen, ideas for that as we continue down this road together. I also love their metallic pens. So the Uniball Signo metallic pens, this one's in like a brass color. It looks pretty gold on paper. It works on white paper and black paper. And darker papers, but it's just as beautiful on white paper. So their metallic pens are great. These glide, and they don't get sticky, they don't get gunky, they don't stop working, which some of the white pens and some of the metallic pens just do. So I love these. All right. And again, I will put the name of those. You can see, I don't know if you can see, if I can get it on camera, but all the writing on the pen is in Japanese. It comes straight from Japan. I guess the Japanese have the best pens. I don't know, but a bunch of pens that are turning into my favorites are from Japan. As far as other colors, one thing that I really love to add color, especially if I'm on the go, is watercolors. And there's a couple ways you can add watercolor on the go that isn't super duper messy. Okay, so one is watercolor pencils. If you have not found these yet, you need to find them. Again, Amazon has these. Just type in watercolor pencils. These are not an expensive brand. These are just Artist Loft. And so what happens is these they look like colored pencils, but they're made to work with water. Now what I like is you can leave them as colored pencils, so you can use them totally like colored pencils, or when you add water to them, they activate and they turn into watercolor paint. Coolest thing ever. So these are really a non-messy way to bring watercolors along with you. The way to make it even less messy is another one of my favorite tools, and that is a water pen. So these pens, it's a water brush pen. So you just unscrew them, you put water inside the barrel, then you just put it all back together. And then as you go along, this brush tip, as you're painting your design, you just squeeze out little bits of water, and you'll get muscle memory. You'll learn pretty quickly how much water comes out when you squeeze it. Every pen is a little bit different too, but you just add water. So taking this and this on the road, literally on the road, like if you're going on a road trip or you're sitting at, a swim meet or something for your, waiting for your kid to come out from school and you want to doodle, no mess watercoloring. Super cool. If you want to get just a little bit messier with real watercolors, my favorite are these Prisma sets. They're tiny. They're so cute. They're little half pan size, and they come in a number of different paint groupings, color groupings. This one's called Decadent Pies. To me, it's a bunch of very rich colors, and it includes a few metallics. So when you open it up, you've got this cute, you've got this that's covering your paints. So if they get all wet and gross, you can just close the lid and you're good to go. And then you can pull it out, and that's a cute little palette where you can mix colors or add water. So you've got a whole bunch of one color. And then it comes with this little swatch paper where you can make your own color swatches to match, so you know exactly what you're going to get and what it's going to look like on paper. These are Prisma. They are also on Amazon. The best price I found them is on Amazon. And again, there's a bunch of different sets of these. There's one called Tropicals. This is Decadent Pies. I think there's a primary one. There's a number of them, and they are so super fun. And it's just the right amount. The little pans are just the right amount of watercolor for most people, and you can use your watercolor pen. So these travel very well, and these travel very well. And so if you want real watercolors, not just a watercolor pencil, this Prima, what is it? Prima Marketing Ink, Decadent Pies. So these Prima watercolors, love, 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 love these. I have 3 of their sets now of different colors, and I use them all the time. Those ones I use in my Bible too, but we'll talk about that in another video. So as far as like all sorts of fancy stuff, you don't need any fancy stuff, right? Like I'm showing you a really cool gel pen, some watercolor pencils, a water brush. All this is on Amazon or at your local art store if you've got one that you want to support locally, and Sharpies. This is really all I use for art journaling. These things right here. That's it. This is my art journaling kit. So, but if you want to just get started, you can use your children's crayons, their leftover colored pencils, their leftover watercolors. You don't have to go out and buy anything new. In fact, you can art journal with the pen sitting in front of you, plain old pen that you got from a hotel or a realtor or whatever, just a pen or a pencil or both. It really, don't let supplies get you hung up on not being a part of this process. Okay, so just let yourself not worry about supplies. Of course, like I've gathered things over time. I've been doing this for 20 years. Am I that old? Yes, I am. Okay, midlife crisis, it's coming. I might end up with a really big pen collection or something. Anyway, just don't let supplies get in your way, and don't let the cost of supplies get in your way either, because you can get kid stuff, you can get dollar store stuff, you can use old stuff you find at resale shops. People are always donating art supplies to resale shops. So just go with what you have, build, and find your own favorite products as we go through ideas here on this page, and share your favorites. I would love in the comments below if you would tell me which one of these sounds like your favorite that you don't use yet, or tell me what your favorite art supply product is. Okay, thanks for joining me. We'll be back to talk about more probably in another day or two. All right, thanks. I'm so glad you're here.